Start with kind of the positives if we want. The minerals deal, they're supposed to sign the minerals deal before that fiasco on Friday, and you thought maybe that's off the table. Well, Trump didn't take it off the table. And then a congressman named Fitzpatrick from Pennsylvania, who's a moderate Republican, he tweeted out that he talked to some of Zelensky's people. See, I just had a lengthy and productive one-on-one with Zelensky's chief of staff. We're 100% getting this train back on the track. So he says the mineral deal is still alive. So, like I said, start with the positives. So maybe we can kind of turn the page. What do you think's next?
Well, I think there's got to be some jousting back and forth here. Look, the administration's plan is to entice Russia into the talks by doing everything it can to make it look like Russia's going to win the talks, and putting down Zelenskyy. Russia doesn't want to talk to Zelenskyy, telling Russia we're going to not give them a security guarantee, not making anything public, make it really look bad for Ukraine, and say, come on in now, Putin, it's going to be really good for you. They just want peace. The trouble with this approach is when you get into the talks and you then say to the Russians, look, here's the truth. As President Trump had said once, we're going to put a backstop there, and you may have to give up some territory. Well, what do you think Russia's going to do? They're going to walk out. And then who's going to have egg on his face?
Yeah.
It's the President of the United States.
Right.
So look, for this to go forward, you have to have a realistic strategy. And that realistic strategy is set up some principles. Both sides have to be willing to make concessions. Those principles have to be known in advance. And then what the U.S. will do to assure that the deal works, bring Europe in, the minerals agreement, et cetera, maybe a backstop, and then the carrots and sticks. Here's what you get if you go along. Russia, you get the relief of sanctions gradually. Here's what you get if you don't go along. You get Ukraine and NATO. And for Zelenskyy, here's what you get if you go along, all the stuff. And if you don't, no support. Now, if you tilt it so that you put all the sticks on Zelenskyy in order to entice Putin to come into the negotiations up front, the Russian style is not to say, okay, well, we're in the negotiations now. It would be too embarrassing if we leave.
Right. They'll walk right out.
Negotiation with Russia is they're very prepared to negotiate as long as it's possible. They continue to stack demands. If you give them $10, they want 20. If you say, well, okay, this is the last thing, 20, said, no, 30. I mean, they could keep upping this as long as they think they're winning. And their goal hasn't changed.
Well, they would think they're winning now, right? I mean, they think they're getting everything they want from Trump, right? But you don't think there's some... Let me put up an article from The Hill that raised this. You don't think there's any kind of this broad change in decades of American foreign policy going on here? This is the Kremlin saying that the Trump foreign policy, quote unquote, largely aligns with our vision, saying that the new administration is rapidly changing all foreign policy configurations. That was the longtime spokesperson for the Kremlin. You think that it's just Trump in his own way trying to get them to come in to talk. I understand you don't agree with it necessarily, but you don't think there's anything larger going on here?
Not clear. Okay. I think if you really wanted to change U.S. foreign policy and you were very clever, you would mask it in this effort to start negotiations. But it doesn't mean that's your ultimate intent. Everything we've seen from President Trump is this really isn't about the negotiations. It really is a different view of America's role in the world and how he wants to see the world. He's not a man who believes in the rule of law, although he's used the law plenty in his business career. He doesn't believe in human rights. He doesn't want to be in the United Nations. He doesn't support the United Nations ideas that an aggression across international borders has to be punished, has to be brought back. It's about really a different vision. It's back to a 19th century vision of there's powers in the world, there's great powers, and there's little. And if you're a great power, you get what you want, whatever you can take. And if you're a little person, get out of the way. You're going to get stepped on. And I think that this is the sort of way he's comfortable with dealing. It's the way he feels comfortable. He's more comfortable seems to be dealing with powerful foreign leaders than he is with leaders of fractious democracies and historic allies of America.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.